Where there's a will, there's a way.
Quite literally, Will Tidwell, a younger gentleman.
I wish I didn't have this big heart. People just do nothing but hurt me. Anybody can dream the dream. Anybody can have a goal, but see,
you're gonna be a neighborhood hero. You just keep shining.
Hey, what's going on, man? This is Will Z Tidwell with SpeakUPZee, and you are now tuned in to another episode of SpeakUPZee, the podcast. And the podcast where we talk about real things with real people, and everything from life to business to mental health, man, to just everyday life, man. You feel me? And this episode is gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna get back into my business side of me, the business side of who Z is, the business side of what I've been able to build, and answering some real questions, kind of based off a discussion that we had during last week's episode of the vent session, where I just kind of came on and I just kind of spoke my thoughts. And one of the key things I talked about was that client of mine that was so hell-bent on trying to do everything herself to where she didn't even realize that she was trying to save money by doing everything herself, but she didn't even realize that she was actually losing money. And that until she learned to delegate and to trust and to lean on other people and spend the money that she's so desperately trying to save, her business will never be able to truly grow. Right? And maybe she's gonna have to cut some corners. Maybe she's gonna have to stop doing certain things. Maybe she have to go pick up another hustle. Maybe something is gonna have to give in order for her to do the things that she's trying to do. And this week, I want to talk about kind of the aftermath of when I did something very similar to that. When I was so hell-bent on trying to do everything in my company that I had to have a sit down in an epiphany moment and realize that if I don't let something go, if I don't start asking for help, if I don't stop trying to hoard all the money, if I don't trust somebody, I'm going to lose all my clients because they start leaving. Because the quality of my work wasn't how it should have always been. Because I was trying to do it all myself. And so, man, this is going to be a great conversation, man. I got about 4 or 5 questions that I'm going to answer just from some people that have asked some very strong questions here about my own personal journey, but also just some questions to help you even your own business and your own life, your own brand, your own platform. And I hope that I do nothing more than just add value to you today. It's not going to be a super long episode either. So I'm super excited to be able to get into that with you guys. But before we do that, man, let's do a quick prayer. And then we can get right into the episode. All right, let's do it. So God, man, we come to you just thanking you for another day of life and all that you do for us day in, day out. And you always provide for us. You always making a way, even when we don't always deserve it. God, I have no idea where I would be without you. I've made so many mistakes. I fall short so many times, God. But you still stay. You still choose to love me. You still choose to uplift me. You still choose to guide me and have your hand over me. And I never want to forget that. Even in those times when life makes me feel alone, you're still there. And God, I need you to remind my listeners and my followers and your supporters of that as well, God, that you're always right there. God, I ask that you can give me the strength and the conviction and the direction and the clarity to say tonight what needs to be said in a way that it needs to be said, that it can touch the hearts of people, help people and their business and their vision and their platform that you've blessed them with. God, please be with us now more than ever tonight. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right, y'all. All right. So again, there was a point in my life where I was so hell-bent on trying to save all of the money, right? Trying to do everything myself because I felt like I could. So I didn't even realize that I may be really losing money. And not only losing money, I'm losing clients. Because think about it, y'all. When you stretching yourself so thin to the point where You trying to be the person that's closing the deals, making the money, controlling the money, watching the money, doing the client work, meeting with the clients, trying to get new clients, trying to do quality control, do customer service. Like you trying to do all of these things, do social media, do the graphics, do the editing. And like I said last week, I'm not saying any of this to down anybody because I get it. There comes a time when you're going to have to do everything inside of your business and you should know how to do everything. I understand. But the moment you have the budget and you have you're able to be able to bring somebody else on that can help you, ask for that help. Ask for that help. As hard as it may be, even though you may be a prideful individual, even though you may really need that bread, even though because think about it. The moment I was able to go and ask somebody else for help, even though I wanted to save the money, I wanted to keep the money, I wanted to be able to hoard the money for myself to pay my bills. If I was able to ask for help and sacrifice some things to be able to pay whoever it is I need to bring on the team to help me and do those things that are taking up too much of my time and my focus and my creativity, now I'm able to go do the things that I'm really great at. Now I'm able to sit here and make a podcast that's going to bring in income. Now I'm able to have some clarity in my mind where I can write and create. Now I'm able to be able to show up on social media in a way where I can reach out to everybody that's been trying to do business with us and I can bring in new money. I don't got to worry about trying to save the money because all I got to really do is go get some more. But it's hard to be able to stay on the phone and go after new clients and try to reach new people and do all of these different things when you're stretching yourself so thin. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to your clients. It's not fair to your brand. And so I had to have a real conversation with myself about that. And it took me losing some clients. So ones that hurt. It hurt losing some of those people. To realize that I can't do it all. It hurt. But I want to talk about, again, some of the lessons that you can learn from that. Give you some different perspectives on how you can look at losing clients. What should be happening when you do lose a client because of mistakes or because of the quality of your work or whatever the case may be. That's what we're really talking about. Because what really matters is not so much you losing the client, because it's business. It's going to happen. Sometimes, y'all, you could do every single thing right. And some people and some clients and some people you're trying to do business with just aren't going to be satisfied. But what really matters is not so much you losing that person, but it's your mindset, it's your attitude, and it's the way that you're going to carry yourself after you lose that person. That's where your true colors are going to show. What are you going to do? Are you going to go back to that failure and extract the lessons from it and see how you could be better and be different? You going to cuss the person out? How are you going to carry yourself? So again, I want to answer some of these questions. And I want to just add some value to my people, man. So number one was from a great friend of mine, and they asked a good question. They said that, can you share a personal experience where you lost a client and initially took it personally? And how did you overcome this feeling? I can tell you about one recently where, man, really two experiences. The first one I want to talk about, he basically was just like, he didn't like our work. He didn't like what we were doing for them, right? Some content we were doing. And they just weren't pleased, and they just wanted to kind of end the relationship. Even though we were on a trial basis and they were seeing great improvement and the numbers were telling a different story, despite all of these things, they just didn't like it anymore. But can I be honest? It was one of our smaller contracts, y'all. So because of that, we really, this is at least what I told myself. that we shouldn't have brought anybody else in to help with the work for that contract because the money wasn't worth bringing in a team of mine to help with the stuff that they needed. So I tried to do it myself. And even though I know how to edit, I know how to create content, I know how to do these things at a high level, I do. But I was stretching myself so thin and I was doing something that I wasn't even passionate about. To where that lack of passion, me stretching myself so thin, it was showing in the work. And this CEO came back to me and said, we don't like what you're doing. We want to end this business relationship. And I ain't gonna lie, when it first happened, I did take it personal. But then I had to sit back on myself and say, what you mad for? It's your fault. You were so hell-bent on trying to do everything yourself and trying to save a few bucks, trying not to delegate, that you let the quality of your work and the quality of your brand fall to the wayside. I couldn't be mad at nobody but myself. And the lesson I learned from it is that as bad as I want to save a couple dollars, as bad as we may sometimes need to save a few dollars, it ain't worth losing long-term relationships and partnerships with people that may want to do business with you for a really long time just because you want to cut a few corners. It ain't worth it. And that was something I just didn't understand at the time, but now I get it more than ever. And the last part of that question, she said that, how did you overcome that feeling? You know, you never really overcome the feeling of losing a client, but you learn to live with it. And I think the moment where I just had to realize, like, it just is what it is, and I had to just move on with my life, is when I knew what I needed to do differently. I knew what I needed to correct. I made those corrections, and new business just took those people's places. And now I have more freedom and flexibility, and I'm happy to where I can go get us new clients, and it's nothing now. Because that was never the problem, is me being able to close deals, but I wasn't able to operate in what I was great at because I was trying to operate in something that I'm not that great at or that I'm not that passionate about. And so the true things that the business needed from me was, again, falling to the wayside because I was trying to do something that wasn't even my calling in this company. And the sad part is that a lot of people that are going to listen to this are doing the exact same thing. And it's a problem. And we just got to be better with that. We just got to learn from our lessons. We got to learn from that mistake. That's all we can do. That was a great question. Let's do this next one. And we're only going to do about 4 of them. So this is question number 2 right here, y'all. It says, in your journey, have you discovered any strategies or mindset shifts that have helped you bounce back stronger after losing a client? You know, outside of what I've just said of being able to extract the lesson from it and understanding that I needed to delegate and ask for help, that was one of the obvious mindset shifts. But strategy-wise, sometimes it's not always the quality of our work that causes us to lose clients. Sometimes it's some other things. Like, for instance, I think one of the most valuable things that you can go back and look at when you do lose a client is understanding and stepping into the shoes of your customer. What was their journey like from start to finish when they were doing business with you? Was it smooth? Was it effortless? Was it automated? Did it make sense? Was it barriers? Did they have to do too much just to get to their final product? Was the final product up to par? I think that's one of the biggest things and biggest mindset shifts that any person should have if they ever comes to them losing a client, is step into the shoes of that client and ask yourself, if you had just went through the experience that they went through when they did business with you, would you be happy? Would you want to spend money with you? Would you be satisfied? And if your answer is no to that, if you even hesitate to that question, then if I was you, what I would do is I would go back through my systems and I would go back through my operations. I would go back through the way that I do business. And I would ask myself what needs to change. What do we need to update? What do we need to not do anymore? What can we do better? What can we do different? How can we make sure that the next time that another client comes on board with us, that their experience with us is just that, an experience. That is something that they never are going to forget for the better. And so for me personally, I think that's something I'm always striving to do is how can I make your experience with me effortless, easy, smooth, and painless? How can I do that? And if I do notice where there are bottlenecks in my processes, or there are things that we could do different, that we could do better, you got to have a real conversation with yourself and stop thinking that the way you do business is perfect when the way nobody does business is perfect. And there's always something that can be done better and can be done different and can be done more efficiently and at a higher level. No matter what your company is and who you are, stop thinking that what you've done is perfect when there's always room for us to be better and be different and grow. And that's just real. Let's move on to the next one, because that was a great question too. I'm knocking these out tonight. Not going to be long-winded at all. Could you discuss the importance of feedback and learning from lost clients rather than dwelling on the loss itself? That's a great question, because oftentimes, ain't that what we do? We dwell so much on the loss that you didn't even take time to see the lesson in the loss. And one of the hardest questions, the most humbling questions you can ever ask a client when they decide to not do business with you anymore, but it's a necessary question, is what could we done? What could we have done differently? What could we do better? How can we ensure that this never happens again? And then most people never want to ask this question because they feel like it's begging. Is there anything that we can do to change your mind and get you to stay on board with us? Most people never do that. You don't want to know why most people never want to ask that hard question of what can I do different? What can I do better? Is there any way that I can ensure that you stay on board and do business with us? Because it's going to require you to admit that you're not perfect. It's going to require you to admit that you have some room to grow. It's going to require you to admit that you don't have it all figured out. And most people are so worried about going through their life already pretending like they do have it all figured out, like everything is perfect, like they do no wrong, like that life has no bumps and no bruises in it, that the moment they have to show any type of vulnerability or any type of, openness whatsoever, we run from that. And I'm no different. It's very hard to ask that question. It's very hard to have to sit there and listen to a client tell you what you didn't do good. It's very hard for them to tell you that sometimes you just plain out suck. That hurts. But if this is something that you truly care about the way you say you do, if this is something that you're saying you want to do for the rest of your life and you don't want to have to go back and work that 9 to 5, or you don't want to have to pivot your whole company when you're already doing what you love, then either you're going to take the constructive criticism. But see, this is the part about constructive criticism that people failed to understand. Sometimes when we get the constructive criticism, we're so focused on the criticism that we never take the constructive side of things. I could care less about the criticism, especially if it's respectful. I'm more worried about the constructive side of things, of what you gave me, of what I can do differently, what I can do better, your opinion, your advice, your guidance, especially if you're somebody that came before me and is doing it at a higher level than me. I'm listening. I'm taking heed to what it is that you have to say. How can I be better? But most people will never ask that question, because it's going to require you to put down your pride and put down your ego, all right? And be humble a little bit. But everybody can't do it. Last question. Are we going to wrap this thing up? And before we get out of here, man, a major shout out to my good friends over at Esquire Writing Media Company. Man, the all-inclusive platform that has everything that you need for your brand, for your personal platform. If you're a creative, if you're an academic student up to the doctorate level, if you're a nonprofit organization, if you're a small business, if you get ready to launch a business, we have so many unique tools and services and products that are designed just for you. Whether it's helping you build up your brand, whether it's helping you with the branding side of things, logos and websites and things of that nature. If you're the academic student, like I mentioned, up to the doctorate level, and you need help with your essays and your dissertations and your discussion boards and things of that nature, we can do it. If you need help figuring out where do I even start with building my brand and my business, we have the coaching to help you get started and build out that platform. Right? If you need help with your content creation, you want somebody to help write those things for you. You need help with ghostwriting your next book or your next project or those email blogs or whatever the case may be. We have all of the services in place that you need in order for you to be successful. And all you have to do is reach out directly to my team or go to our website at speakupzee.com/Esquire, or you can reach out to us directly at our number. And let me get the number because I never can remember it. As you guys know, it's 469-851-7235. Text the letters ESQ directly to that number, and man, my team will take care of the rest. All right. Thank y'all so much for that. All right, let's get to the last one. Let's do the last one, y'all. Last question of the day. How can maintaining a healthy work-life balance help individuals cope better with the emotional toll of losing a client? That's so good. Y'all, because if we stay so long in us losing business in the negative things or the hurtful things sometimes that client may have said on their way out the door, that fucks with our psyche in such a way where it messes with our confidence. It messes with who we know we are and what we know we are capable of in such a way so where we start to wonder why we're not closing deals moving forward, because you can't focus on what you need to do and who you really are and whose you are and what you know God already put on the inside of you, because you're so focused on the negative little thing that happened in your life that client said or how you could have done better and you could have done different. And instead of just applying what you already know you can do to the next one, the next opportunity that God is already blessing you with, you so hell bent on focusing on that you can never move forward. You so focused on the criticism that you never even listen to the constructive. You so focused on the negative things that were said to you that you don't even see all the blessings in it. And I think the reason why work-life balance is so important when it comes to losing a client in particular, since that's what we're talking about today, is because sometimes, y'all, we just need a chance to just be. We just need a chance to be human. I don't want to be the professional today. I don't want to be the CEO today. I don't want to be the business owner today. I just want to be human. I want to hang with my family. I want to laugh. I want to travel. I want to go eat some good food. I just want to be. I'm tired of being strong today. I'm tired of always having to be the one to figure it out. Every once in a while, it's okay for you just to not know what to do and just want to take a step back from the world and just be. That's okay. But we feel bad when we just want to be. But how can we ever show up fully for the next client, for the next opportunity, for our team, for our family? How can we show up for these people that matter the most in our life if we don't have that healthy work-life balance? One of my clients that I do some life coaching with, one of the key things I told her is I noticed that she makes time for everything and everybody else except herself. I said, you put everything else on this calendar that's a priority to you, except yourself. That's a problem. So no matter what you're dealing with, what you're going through, what's happening in your life, I need you to make sure that, especially for my business owners, but everybody, but especially my entrepreneurs in particular, carve out some time in your schedule that's just for you. Carve out a day of your schedule that's just for you. Carve out a day in your month that's just for you. And even when you do lose a client, when you do lose a partnership, you do lose an opportunity, you don't get the grant that you wanted, or whatever the case may be, whatever falls through the cracks. When you have that set time for yourself to just reset, recoup, and rest, you don't even think about the lost opportunity because you're already so excited to go back knowing what you know now. And you just want to do it different and do it better. But if you never rest, if you never recoup, if you never take time for you, then it'll never happen. And I need you to understand that. And so on, man, this is a great episode tonight. Some very powerful things have been said and some great questions were asked. And I hope just some value was added to my people tonight. You feel me? About this in particular, losing clients, losing opportunities, right? Falling flat on your face, and how to deal with it, how to look at it, how to move forward. Because even though sometimes it felt like the end of the world, sometimes it's only the beginning. You have no idea what God has in store for you. But if you allow that missed opportunity or that missed client or what that person said to you or how they treated you when you made a mistake in business to get to you, you'll never get to see all he has in store. Again, man, I hope this episode tonight added value to my people. Hope it spoke life into my people. I hope it helped you navigate in your own company when you're dealing with being turned down and rejected and losing clients, man, because we all deal with it. Most people just aren't brave enough to talk about it. Man, I love y'all so much, man. And until next time, man, this is SpeakUPZee, the podcast. I love y'all. Peace.